Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When you type notes during a lecture, are you actually learning or are you performing productivity? Because the two feel identical, but neurologically, they are opposites. You've seen it before. Important meeting. Someone speaking fast, half the room typing like machines, the other half writing by hand. The typers look efficient, focused, serious. But if we could see inside their brains, it would look almost quiet. Minimal activation, just fingers pressing identical keys. Meanwhile, the slow writer, motor regions firing, language centers engaged, visual circuits tracking shape and structure, multiple systems synchronizing. Same information, completely different brain state. Here's the part nobody tells you. Typing feels productive because it's easy, and the brain confuses ease with mastery. That's the trap. You think, I captured everything. But capturing is not encoding. Transcribing is not understanding. And speed is not intelligence. This is where it gets dangerous. When you type, you can record almost word for word, so you don't have to think. You don't have to filter. You don't have to decide what matters. Your brain stays passive. You become a court stenographer of your own education. And here's the identity trigger. If learning doesn't feel slightly difficult, you're probably not learning. Handwriting forces a constraint. You physically cannot keep up with speech. So your brain must compress, select, translate, rephrase. And translation is where understanding is born. When you rewrite an idea in your own words, you're not copying. You're restructuring neural networks. You're forcing your brain to decide, what is this actually saying? Why does it matter? How does it connect to what I already know? That friction, that slight cognitive strain, that's the signature of deep encoding. Now, here's the mid-video truth most people resist. Typing doesn't just reduce learning, it trains your brain to outsource thinking. When information lives externally, on screens, in files, in endless folders, your mind quietly relaxes. It assumes retrieval will be easy later, so it invests less energy now. This is called cognitive offloading, and it feels efficient, but it weakens ownership. When you write by hand, something different happens. Your brain doesn't treat the information as temporary. It treats it as embodied. The shape of the letters, the spacing on the page, the pressure of your hand. The physical act becomes part of the memory trace. You don't just remember the idea, you remember writing it. Top corner, middle margin, underlined twice. Those spatial cues become retrieval hooks. Typing removes those anchors. Every line looks identical. Every key feels identical. Your brain has nothing distinctive to grab onto. Here's the escalation layer. This isn't just about school. It's about how you think. When you rely only on digital capture, you train yourself to accumulate information without metabolizing it. You become informed, but not transformed. You have notes, but not knowledge. And over time, that gap compounds. You start mistaking access for intelligence, searchability for memory, storage for comprehension. And slowly, your thinking becomes surface level, fast, but fragile. So here's the shift. Stop trying to capture everything. Start trying to understand something. When you're in a meeting, resist the urge to transcribe. Listen, pause, then write only what feels structurally important, in your own words. Messy, compressed, imperfect. That imperfection is the point. Afterward, close your notes. From memory, write a short summary, even if it's rough, especially if it's rough. That act of retrieval strengthens the very pathways you'll need when it matters. Not reviewing, recalling. Because recall is reconstruction, and reconstruction is ownership. Here's the unresolved tension you've probably felt. Why do you forget things you studied for hours? Because your brain wasn't being challenged. It was being entertained by motion. Now, here's the resolution. When learning feels slightly slower, slightly effortful, slightly uncomfortable, that's your brain signaling this matters. You don't need a new productivity app. You need friction. Because the most powerful thinking tool ever invented costs less than a coffee. And it forces you to actually think.